Welcome back. Now, the Central Bank Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, has pledged to sustain FX intervention, saying that the country's foreign reserves have exceeded $31 billion. He's also optimistic that Nigeria would exit recession by the end of the second quarter of 2017 or latest by the third quarter of the year. These and more are some of the burning economic issues we're focusing on in today's commodities market update. And I'm being joined by a research analyst with financial derivatives company, Bolanle Olutosin. Good morning. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Good morning.
Now, external reserves at $31 billion. Should Nigeria begin to celebrate, considering the uncertainty in the global oil market?
It's great. It's great news, despite the fact that the CBN has been intervening in the market and our reserves have been able to, sustain that intervention. But at the same time, it's important to note that, external reserves is a stock concept, but the more important aspect should be the flow, which is our oil revenue and our borrowings. Borrowings are fine. We've been, trying to borrow in the external market, but at the same time, oil revenue, oil prices barely above $50 per barrel, and our oil production for March, according to OPEC, has dropped marginally to $1.5 million per barrel, million barrels per day rather. And if our oil revenue cannot sustain our reserves, it becomes an issue. But at the same time, the reserves, they pose as a firewall, to back up, the reduction in the revenue.
All right. The CBN governor also talked about getting out of recession by the end of the second quarter. Now, you do a lot of research in commodities and all that. Are there any changes so far in the economy and the prices, production output to, indicate that projection by the CBN governor?
First of all, I think the CBN governor is being extremely cautious, to say that the economy will recover latest by Q3. But we believe that based on our research, we should expect a recovery, in Q2. Inflation figures are down, exchange rate has been stable. Power output, it's not great, but it has improved. So these are indicators that are pointing towards a recovery. But then again, if we look at it, a 0.1% increase puts us out of a recession. But at the same time, it's not just coming out of the recession, it's being sustainable with it. It's having a growth rate that is actually sustainable, the trajectory is moving into the positive direction. So that's the more important aspect. It's not just about getting out of the recession.
All right, you talked about inflation rate. What's your projection on the next, the inflation rate will soon be released.
Yes.
As the April inflation rate.
Yes.
What's your projection?
Well, we believe that the inflation rates would go as low as 16%. But we haven't really released the report yet because we're still in the process of our analysis. But very soon, by next week, we should have our projections ready. Now,
the latest in the foreign exchange market is this new window, the investor and exporters
yes.
Window. How far has that window performed so far?
As yesterday, closed at $380 naira to the dollar. It's good because it performs stronger than the parallel market. And at the same time, the idea about creating a window that allows for flexible exchange rate is amazing. Over time, it should help, bring in investors into the economy, because a lot of investors left, thinking that, there was no stability in the system. So the window has been, or will be able to, create that stability that they look out for. But at the same time, it's a two-way quote window, and it creates room for arbitrage pricing, which is a problem for, speculative attacks and all that. But as long as the CBN is, keeping a watchful eye on the movements, the market movements, I think it should work because it would create a market efficient rate.
But a lot of people have talked against the multiple exchange rate policy and says it's hurting the economy.
Yes, it is. It's not an efficient, system. You can't have an economy that has multiple exchange rates. But if we notice, all the exchange rates are actually converging to, a particular number. They're all moving in the same direction. But at the same time, at some point, if you know that, okay, one exchange rate, the only difference is marginal, you'll start seeing a case where, you know, people are moving towards, the market actually is moving towards one particular exchange rate. So we should see that eliminate itself soon.
Now, another interesting issue is the diesel price. That seemed to have come down sharply, 190 naira
yes,
per litre. What drove that price?
From our analysis, first of all, power output has improved, even though it's still below the 44,000 megawatts. It's over 3,700 megawatts at the moment. So the substitution effect of this obviously has brought down, you know, demand for diesel rather than, you know, increasing the demand for diesel at the moment. But also crude prices have dropped by about 8%, and you know diesel is a byproduct of crude prices. So this drop has actually fed into the wholesale prices, not actually the retail prices. So it's important to know that the 190 is actually the wholesale price. So we've seen, you know, these changes in the market have actually fed into diesel prices. And
what does that mean for the commodity prices?
Well, diesel is a major cost for manufacturers. You know, apart from using diesel to power their generators, they also use diesel for their trucks. So obviously we see that this, you know, reduces the cost of, you know, manufacturing, cost of operating at the moment. So it's great news for commodity prices. But as what we've seen is that, you know, prices have been sticky. We haven't really seen any changes in prices at the moment. So, but with the fall in diesel prices, we should see prices fall, but not in the near term.
Yes. Anyway, thank you very much for your time, Bolanle.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bolanle Olutosin, research analyst with Financial Derivatives Company here in Lagos. Now a quick look at the energy stocks at the Nigerian Stock Exchange. We had corn oil price remaining unchanged at 33 naira 25 kobo. Forte oil added 0.40% to close at 44 naira 98 kobo. Mobile was unchanged at 340 naira. MRS unchanged at 39 naira 3 kobo. Oando added 6.11% to close at 5 naira 70 kobo. Seplat also added 1.23% to close at 410 naira, and Total remained unchanged at 263 naira. The daily index return for Wednesday was up 1.2%, year to date 3.0%, price to earnings 83.9, and dividend yield 2.1%.